You hear a whisper, they all thought they had control but someone just pulled the rug out. That's when Tasha K dropped her bombshell. And just like that, the world tilted. Because this wasn't your ordinary tea, this was the kind of expose that splits your view of people forever. When Tasha leaned forward, mic hot, cameras rolling, she promised to reveal what no one dared to speak. Martell Holt. Arionne Curry. Secrets. Betrayals. Lies. The kind that don't just ruin reputations, they shatter trust, love, and image. By the end, fans weren't just shocked. They were gasping. And one simple question echoed, who do we believe? Before we dig into the twist and the drama, we need to step back. To see how far this had all come. To understand why these names carry gravity in the world of reality TV and relationships. Martell Holt wasn't always the villain in gossip headlines. There was a time when his name meant ambition, charisma, hope. A man who built a life on faith, family, and public persona. He married, had children, portrayed an image of stability. But behind every public image, there's a private life. And the cracks were always there, small, whispered, dismissed. Over time, they widened. Arionne Curry, too, had her own narrative. You may know her as part of the Love and Marriage Huntsville drama, someone with flair, someone bold, someone who refused to be invisible. She'd had her own struggles, her own dreams, her own voice. In many ways, she represented that complicated idea of love under pressure, wanting intimacy, but also respect. Wanting acknowledgement, but fearing betrayal. Over the years, fans watched their interactions, their tensions, their smiles and side glances. Rumors circulated. Third wheel, other woman, shadow in the wings, all the toxic labels that reality TV loves tossing around. But when those rumors swirl, they don't always reflect truth. Sometimes, they reflect what people want to believe. Or what someone wants you to believe. Here's something important. For many who grew up watching relationships on screen, there is a certain hunger for authenticity. We want vulnerability. We want someone to admit they messed up. We want to see consequences. We crave a real story, not a scripted one. And that's why the moment Tasha K promised explosive secrets, the audience leaned in, because they sensed this might be more than gossip. This might be truth. But truth has its cost. To reveal a secret is to risk being attacked. To name names is to be attacked. And so, many stay quiet. They smile, they walk away, they fade. But Tasha didn't. She didn't stay quiet. She leaned in. What she claimed she discovered would force us to reassess everything we thought we knew: the alliances, the betrayals, the private tapes, the hidden recordings, the phone calls, the behind closed door moments. What nobody expected was how deep it went. How personal. How devastating. How this would affect not just the parties involved, but the fans who invested in them. Ladies and gentlemen, here's where the heart of the story lies. Tasha K began by promising she had audio recordings. Raw, untouched. She said these tapes captured Martell admitting things, confessing secrets, manipulating narratives. She claimed Arionne was involved in retaliations. That she held weapons of her own, conversations she could replay, leaks she could set free. The first bomb dropped, Tasha released a snippet of a phone call. In it, Martell's voice is cold, clipped, almost taunting. He speaks of financial leverage, of holding on to certain private exchanges just in case. He murmurs that he has insurance in relationships, that love can crumble if one side holds all the dials. It sounded sinister. It felt like a trap. And fans immediately felt the tremor. Then came the twist. Arionne wasn't just a bystander, according to Tasha. She had access to conversations, sometimes initiated them. She allegedly recorded some calls herself, purportedly to protect her own name. In one leaked clip, her voice emerges soft, steady, but under it, tension. She says, "You do this, you forced me, and you promised transparency, but you double-crossed me." Was she confessing? Or defending? That ambiguity sent fans scrambling. Tasha also claimed that behind the scenes, Martell orchestrated triangular narratives letting both women believe they had loyalty, control, or secret power. She said he played both sides like a conductor with strings, twisting public perception. He would lean into one story, backpedal with another, leak parts to media, then deny them in interviews. His public image became a shield, and inside, chaos reigned. Then the drama deepened. Tasha alleged that Martell and Arionne conspired to plant stories in media, releasing anonymous sources to bloggers, feeding rumors to entertainment podcasts, and then denying any involvement publicly. If you traced the rumors' path back, Tasha claimed she found evidence, screenshots, timestamps, metadata. She said, "I didn't leak those. They did." She insisted this whole narrative was premeditated. As the clips rolled out day by day, fans noticed something: the pacing, the timing, the drip. Each new revelation seemed placed to maximize shock. A new layer would drop when heat cooled. A new audio, a new transcript, a new screenshot. There was also a claim that Martell had threatened to use intimate recordings never revealed publicly before to control narratives. That he had them as leverage. Tasha said those tapes existed, buried in cloud storage, in devices, in backups. The possibility of their existence stirred public fear. Would they ever see the light of day? Could they be weaponized? At one point, a conversation in an audio clip revealed tension between trust and betrayal. Martell said, "You're either with me or against me," in a clipped tone. Arionne responded, "Don't talk to me like I'm lesser." The power dynamic was clear. One held control, the other resisted or tried. And then, the social media war escalated. Clips were posted with cryptic captions. Screenshots were plastered in stories. Fans picked sides. Hashtags exploded: protect truth, release the tapes, who is Martell, Arionne spill. The comment sections became battlegrounds. Allies of Martell were attacked, defenders of Arionne scrutinized. The divide widened. Meanwhile, Martell and Arionne issued statements carefully worded, emotionally distant. Denials of leaks, claims of misrepresentation, appeals to privacy. But with every denial, more people asked, "What are you hiding? What's the real story?" One of the deepest moments came when Tasha posted a video with Arionne in tears, recording her emotional breakdown. She claimed Arionne was overwhelmed by how far things spiraled. She looked fragile, vulnerable. Her voice cracked. She pleaded, "I never wanted to hurt." The contrast between her public posture and that moment of raw emotion rattled viewers. You could feel her internal battle: guilt, defensiveness, heartbreak, fear. What nobody predicted was what happened next. After all the leaks, the audios, the claims, someone close to Martell called Tasha privately. They offered a deal, a meet, a truce. But Tasha, firm in her mission, declined. She said the fans deserved truth more than favors. That decision, she claimed, is what made her truly dangerous in their eyes. Because once someone starts pulling strings behind the scenes, the narrative becomes not what happened but what can't be suppressed. And then came the final layer, her boldest claim, that Martell's empire, the facade of success, the donations, the public faith platform, all masked fractures. That funds were diverted, promises broken, loyalty bought. That some of the support came from people unaware of what happened behind the closed doors. That the public-facing pastor, the family man, hid secrets to protect a bigger brand. Tasha urged the audience, don't buy the aura. Follow the actions. Watch the shadows. Every revelation turned the lens inward. Fans no longer just watched a scandal, they felt part of something bigger: betrayal, power, secrecy. And every new leak brought a new question: where is the line between public image and private truth? Now, let's feel the weight of it all. All the whispers, the leaks, the confrontations, they left scars deeper than headlines. For Martell, this assault wasn't just on reputation. It was personal. To have one's intimate conversations dissected, one's private dealings analyzed in comment threads, it's an erosion of identity. When people you trusted begin questioning your integrity, your judgment, your character, the ripple effect is brutal. Every handshake meeting, every public appearance, every sermon or interview becomes under suspicion. You wake up wondering, who's listening? Who's plotting? Who's already turned? Arionne, too, paid a heavy emotional toll. To be painted as the conspirator, the leaker, the enabler, it's to face a narrative about yourself you may or may not have written. To be torn between defending what's true and refusing to be consumed by lies. When tears are leaked, when heartbreaks are broadcast, when every post you write becomes evidence, it becomes hard to breathe. The weight of being misunderstood, of feeling framed, of being forced to respond. This is emotional warfare. Then there is family, trust, bonds. Partners may question past decisions. Children may absorb tension. Relationships outside this triangle suffer in silence. Friends pick sides or watch from a distance. Some alliances fracture. Some remain silent out of fear. The ripple becomes a storm. Career, too, is on the line. In the world of reality television and public image, once your credibility is questioned, contracts shift, offers dry up, sponsors hesitate. A single clip, a single leak, a single doubt can cost you revenue, reputation, opportunities. And in this case, the exposure threatened not just personal brand but everything built over years. The stage, the platform, the faith communities, everything was vulnerable. But the most tragic toll is on self. When you constantly monitor what you said, what you did, when your memories become under scrutiny, when your truth is attacked, you begin to doubt yourself. You begin to wonder, did I cross a line? Did I slip somewhere? Did I miscalculate? Or worse, did I let someone else write my story for me? The internal fight between pride, guilt, defensiveness, regret, it's a war that never ends. For fans, the impact was brutal, too. People who invested emotionally in a story, who believed in redemption, who supported loyalty, they felt betrayed. They felt used. They questioned, why did I pick sides? What did I miss? How little do we really know? For many, this became a mirror. If someone so public, so scrutinized, had secrets deeper than the ones we saw, what does that say about all of us? And now, we arrive at the moment when the echoes settle, though they never fully fade. What do we do with secrets once they're exposed? How do we reconcile the man we trusted with the man the tapes revealed? How do we treat someone we admired when we see their flaws laid bare? Do we absolve them? Do we cut them off? Do we hold them accountable? Or do we sit forever in this gray space, between forgiveness and judgment? One thing becomes clear: silence is no longer safe. In a world of narratives, whoever speaks first often controls what people believe. Tasha K's decision to speak, to project audio, to frame a narrative was risky. But risk changes the field. She dared to be loud. She dared to say, "This is what I found." And that courage or recklessness, depending on your view, forced everyone else to react. Yet, even as we demand truth, we must remember humanity. These are real people. People who laugh, who love, who break. People who make bad decisions, but still have value. People capable of healing if they choose. And viewers, we carry power to amplify, power to tear down, but also power to pause, to question, to reflect. Maybe the greatest lesson here is this: your public image can be curated, polished, sold. But your private reality is messy, flawed, fragile. And no matter how many walls you build, secrets tend to leak. They seep out, quietly at first, then with noise. And in that moment, you're left with choices: deny, dismantle, rebuild, or fall apart. Where do Martell and Arionne go from here? Do they fight back with lawsuits? Do they counterattack with their own leaks? Do they retreat from the spotlight or lean harder into it? Do they heal privately, or let the world watch every step? We don't yet know. But one thing is certain: the world saw this. We heard those tapes. We saw those tears. We questioned indulgences, lies, control. And once that door opens, you can't fully walk it back. Every public move now carries weight. Every word, every gesture, every silence. Because in the court of public opinion, memory is long, and leaks are forever.